It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather, all things snow, all things ice, rain, everything under the umbrella. But we get hungry from time to time, so we're sponsored by Marco's Pizza, which has a new deal of the week. I was off yesterday, so it's a shorter week. We'll do this tonight, we'll do this Wednesday and Thursday, but we'll give away some free pizza on Thursday. More on the deal of the week in just a moment. The big story now, everybody's all talking about, I knew it wouldn't take long. Maybe 24, 36 hours, somebody has something else to get excited about. Well, there's more flakes in the forecast. Nuisance. And rumors of flakes. Oh, I've heard it's going to be fill in the blank. We're going to have a little advanced forecasting class for all of those 16 to 18-year-olds who are out there who want to be weather people. And I'm going to give you some tips that no one will tell you. Nobody will tell you, weren't you the guy that got this one right? Yeah. And there's a reason why I got it right. And while the others might have not necessarily applied the right principles. Do you know about BOP? Oh, you got to stay for the end. And I got to follow up, too, on the Brian Donegan story, which was Sunday night, the 16-year-old from South Jersey who went on to face his fear of snow. He gave me a little direct message over the last day or so, and I want to share that part of his comment with you at the end. All right, so let me get to the bigger story. We got some weather talking about this is the storm, this is the low, put it full screen. There's actually several lows here. But we are going to find some precipitation tonight. It's going to follow the red line. And then the secondary low that's down over South Carolina will be coming in on Wednesday night. And if you're new to our platform, welcome. 7 o'clock Wednesday, the timestamp's in the upper right corner. So this is number 2. This is the first one that'll be leaving tonight. And so there will be a large period of time tomorrow where it's just dry, nothing's falling. So we have one that moves off the coast, one that comes in from Roanoke, and it slides in like so. But then there's some reinforcements coming in on Thursday night into, actually Friday night to Saturday morning. And so by the time we get to the polar plunge on Friday and Saturday, especially on Saturday, the reinforcements are going to be amazingly cold. This is just going to be super cold. We're just going to get one front after the other, and temperatures are going to feel a lot colder than they actually are. In fact, I suspect winds on Saturday morning could be gusting over 40, possibly 45, and by the time the polar plunge around 1 p.m. occurs, they'll still be gusting 30 to 35. It's going to be a tough, but we do it for a good cause. It's for the Special Olympics. We hope you'll participate. Come on out. I'll be in a booth. I think Kurt Williams is committed. He's going to do it. But this will also throw in a couple more snow opportunities for some flakes. But I call them nuisance flakes because if it's less than a half inch, and I mean less than a half inch, do you really want to make a snow map? Or do you really want to elevate it to that level of importance? I don't think so. But there are those that would say yes, yes. Oh, by the way, do you know our low this morning was 20? 20 in Norfolk? Yeah, we hit that at 4:40 a.m. It was 18 in Suffolk, 18 in Chesapeake, 17 Franklin, Ahoskie. Really cold this morning. Ahoskie, good evening to you. If you've made it through 13, you can make it through anything. I mean, that's cold stuff. So our finishing point was warm. I mean, Ahoskie went from 13 to 46. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, that's a big improvement. I mean, Norfolk had our warmest temperature at 48 degrees since the 23rd of January. What was it on that day? It was 49. So really it was 11 days or 1 week and 4 days, if you want to look at it that way. About a week and a half since we've been that warm today. It was a real bonus. So I like to call today a win for Team Spring. It wasn't even above normal. The normal high is 51 today. It gets up to 52 tomorrow. That's the normal. Normals are just averages. That's all it is over a 30-year period. I got a couple of notes from you that might be trickling in. Some came from last night or last couple of nights. I got Kristen who's saying, hello, is she on here? You know what I do? I have to just import some of those comments. And I just takes a little bit of a few seconds here. But I want to put this great comment that my sponsor will love. Marco's Pizza. I've always wanted to try their pizza. Well, Kristen, you might actually win some free pizza this Thursday because if we haven't told you, the deal of the week is the $10.99. Now, you might not have tried the Hot Honey Magnifico, and it's fantastic. It has a kick. It's sweet, sweet to taste, but has a little like a peppery taste as it goes down. But I'm told on great authority that if you use this promo code WTKR Sunny, you can get a $10.99 on any of their medium pizzas. That means medium, deluxe, any of their medium pizzas you could try for $10.99. So if you haven't tried Marco's, I hope you will. Our webpage, WTKR.com/Marco's, if you want to sign up to win some free pizza. There are 6 locations that are going to be participating in this week and every week. 3 in Virginia Beach, on the screen, 2 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk, and of course the Pizza for a Year certificate. We'll announce that winner on Thursday. But I do want to mention, all these pizzas, whether maybe you want a medium Philly, maybe you want a medium white cheesy, a big cheese, a chicken fresco. I do believe they're all $10.99. Maybe you want the works. Boy, that's a real deal. You get everything on it for the same price of $10.99 simply for watching our live stream. So appreciate, and barbecue chicken, that's another winner. But you might want to go all in with the works. Get a $10.99 works or Mike's Hot Honey, all for how much? $10.99, no coupon needed. Just use this at the checkout, WTKR Sunny. You love that? I thought it was a nice way to kind of start off the stream if you are in fact hungry. Let's get to the weather though, as I'll look at some new comments. Our current reading right now at 7:45 is 36. Virginia Beach, 38 in Portsmouth, 39 in Hampton. Temperature right now in Hosky, 31. You've gotten below freezing pretty quickly there in Hertford County. 36 Nags Head, Manteo, 36 in Elizabeth City, 37 in Yorktown. And here's a look. I mean, it would appear that some of the snow is probably disappearing in some of your neighborhoods. Maybe you didn't get much at all. Maybe it's just still lingering in spots. I'm looking at Moyock there. But as the radar would reveal, as the current time frame, and the last I checked, it is now 7:46. It looks like it's raining, maybe trying to snow. But much of this is kind of sketchy. It's what I would call paper thin. It's the radar doing its job, but what's happening is it's evaporating before it reaches the ground. As the column of air, as the clouds get thicker, eventually we'll see some precipitation. But if we pull back, add a few clouds, pull back, even some more, most of this has just been dancing, just some radar noise. It's not that the radar is misbehaving, it's just it's not actually reaching the ground yet. But give it time, because it follows not the yellow brick road, but the red road, right? It's the warm front that's driving into town now, but we have a low north of Roanoke and Charleston and a cold front back. It is snowing, to be fair, in southeastern Ohio, and it's snowing in parts of southwest Virginia, because I see right around Roanoke, right? You see some white there. So now the question is that, are you going to get rain? Are you going to get snow? Or are you going to get something in between? And the answer is yes, yes, and yes. Depends on your neighborhood. Are we going back to that? Yeah, it was like the weekend before the weekend storm, right? Right, we had a little bit of a mix. We could have that too, but this is of such low caliber. It's a little clipper system. It's going to graze our area, and then it's going to be on its merry way. So to elevate it, anything more than that is probably a bit overstated. I'm not here to overstate anything. I'm going to stay measured like I did on the last storm. More on that coming up. But the cold air, certainly back toward Indiana. Here's where things are going, right? This is how one particular model sees the solution. Now, it looks like it's snowing in Richmond at 10 o'clock tonight. Can't disagree. And maybe there's some freezing rain in here. That's a possibility. Or maybe it's a rain-snow mix. That's a possibility too. But follow with me at the timestamp here. Find out and pick out your favorite community and neighborhood, because it looks like it's going to rain by the time it hits Cape Charles at 11 o'clock. So you might get a snow-rain mix in Williamsburg, but is it going to really stick? I don't know. I don't think so. I highly doubt it. You were in the 40s today. So in many cases, these drops and flakes, when they hit the pavement, aren't going to stick around. The rumors may stick around, but the drops and flakes won't, because they're going to be on the move. By the time you get to midnight tonight, it really looks like it's snowing in Cape Charles. And it might be snowing pretty aggressively in Exmoor. But does it stay that way for hours? No. Maybe 2 hours, and it's already changed over in Exmoor. Looks like it's pink and back to rain in Cape Charles, and that washes what fell down the drain. But it certainly looks like a rain-snow mix by this graph model at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, my question to you, and it's a fair question, where are you going to be at 2 o'clock in the morning tomorrow? Well, I'm going to be asleep, David. Where are you? That's where I'll be. So, is it something to get excited about? I don't know. You going to sled on that? No. So this is all going to go away, and by the time you hit 3 o'clock in the morning, it's on its way out. So that's the first element, right? This is the first low that's sliding off the coast. The secondary low is going to come in Wednesday night. So by the time you're out the door, if you're a working adult, maybe you've got responsibilities in a mortgage or an apartment rent to pay. 7 a.m. it's just maybe mostly cloudy here in Ahoskie, cloudy here. I mean, there's not much other than a few showers still raining in Manio and Wanchese. That's what I see, right? So most of the quote-unquote drama, round one, pretty wimpy. Then we go into midday tomorrow, a lot of cloud cover. What happens after that? 3 o'clock looks like that, and 5 o'clock looks like this. So you got winds out of the northeast, generally north-northeast, maybe 10 to 15 at times, but even still, once you get into Wednesday night, there's been so much hubbubaloo in the Rumorville world, which is called social media, that we're getting some snow. I heard we're getting X, Y, or Z. Well, you heard from me, it's pretty nuisance. It's a nuisance. It's like when you do get flakes that's ½ inch or less in spots, you move on. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm just trying to tell you. So this shows the snowflake at 7 o'clock in Norfolk. Oh no, where will I be at 7 o'clock tomorrow night? I don't know. You tell me. But what happens from here? Well, it looks like at 9 o'clock Wednesday night, it's just rain, mainly down towards southern Bertie County, down toward Manio. It's all rain. Didn't I say we get a little of everything? Yeah, it's like a kitchen sink. I've seen pink, I've seen white, I've seen green so far, but keep going. Show me what happens next. Oh, it goes to snow in Ahoskie. Oh, that's why you focused on Yes, they may see it first thing tomorrow night, around 11 o'clock. But will it last? The answer is no. Survey says it's not going to last. It's going to go fleety bye-bye, right? Here's what people don't understand. If I said we're going to get some rain, do you immediately assume it's a downpour? No. It could be drizzle. It could be a light rain shower. It could be a scattered shower. So when people say snow, they think we're going to get it. Oh, we're going to get it, or we're going to see it. Is it just a little bit of flurry activity or a light snow shower? Now you're over the target. It's a light snow shower for Ahoskie. Let's go further. Oh, it's still snowing in Ahoskie. And look, it's moved into Virginia Beach. That must be something really bad. No, it's not bad. Not bad. Might get ½ inch in there, and then it's gone 4 o'clock in the morning. Stick a fork in it. It's done by 4 o'clock in the morning. There's not much left. So how on earth are you going to start putting totals on something? That's where you're trying to peg Jell-O to the wall. Might be snowing a duck, but tell me what happens at 7 a.m. It's gone. Maybe still hanging around the Albemarle, but even that is overstated. Does this help? I'm just trying to make sure everybody's on the same page. Because I don't think, personally, that lessons that were learned over the weekend have been truly adhered to or taken. Nobody's learned anything. I'm still seeing people get all excited about, what we're getting tonight and tomorrow, which really is overstated. So if you need some level of, the non-hype venue, come here. I'm not going to hype up anything. This is just nuisance flakes. Where it flakes, see, it's not everywhere. Just like in the summertime. How can this community in the summertime get a rain shower, but I'm 50 miles away and I didn't? Why? Nobody acts like that in the summertime, but we do in the wintertime. It's very curious. Maybe you can shed some light on that for me as I'm going to import your comments on the screen. But that's where we are going by 5 o'clock Thursday. Some extra clouds may linger. Now, the snow forecast from the GFS model. This is going to be fun. I say this because everybody wants to see the models. The model worshipers, which I am not, you can't chase this stuff. But what's funny to me, funny, ironic, and painfully true for those who want to hype it up, this is their favorite product. And it's dropped it to 0.1. So how are you going to measure 0.1 with a ruler? The answer, you don't. So my point is, don't hype it up. It's just nuisance flakes. It's not much bigger deal than that. All right, I've got to get some comments in here because I'm just dying to know what you think. Sound off. I've had some very interesting comments over the last 72 hours. I'd love to put some of that on the screen. I've talked about that over the last couple of days, even on the live stream. But I want to come back on the comments here and let's see where some of this is maybe imported. I got Gail giving me a thumbs up. She's excited about a nothing burger, and I love the fact that she's got that. Hey, I like that. Gail, kudos to you for figuring out how to attach a photo. You can use that. And I got a note from Kim Thompson-Jones. Where is this? Oh, yeah. Thanks, David, for keeping us informed. My pleasure. We're not done. I'm going to share a little bit more. If you didn't see Sunday's live stream, check out the last 6 to 8 minutes. The last 6 to 8 minutes, I gave a very personal story about a friend who was just like you. Somebody was leaving a comment on my blog when I worked in Philly myfoxphilly.com blog, I had scores of people leaving comments, but this was a young man, 16 years of age, sophomore in high school, who was asking me for weather advice. He wanted to go on and study, wanted to know where he should go, and I gave him some suggestions. But the follow-up of that is coming at the end of this stream, plus an advanced course. Oh, for free. I'm going to give my knowledge away for free. That's amazing. And no one sees this coming. And you will be amazed of how I make it so entertaining. So stay with me there. Now, for those of you that love models, GFS must be the real deal. Well, what if the graph is the real deal? We get a half-inch in Husky, but we get nothing in the Eastern Shore. Oh, you're killing me. Oh, the snowbirds out there, all Team Snow just wants to fade. It's sad. It's really sad. Veronica says this is just agonizing. I don't know, maybe it's agonizing that you've been told a bill of goods, but I'm not here to pipe up anything. So let's leave that there. Tanner is saying, let's see, agonizing. No, Tanner, I'm not. This is a good point. Maybe I'll take this moment to share what Tanner is saying, because I'm not here to avoid any of the offensive, defensive. I think the weather community got hurt on this one, Tanner, because they started high when they should have started low. And what I mean to say that, when you bid, the first forecast that came out from the National Weather Service was 9.9 inches of snow, okay? 9.9 inches of snow. If you need evidence of that, I'll put that on the screen right now, okay? That was what they first put out. Hours later, that 9.9 in Norfolk dropped to 8.7, which then fell to 7. And did you know they kept lowering it? They went from 7 to 6, and then they said, okay, well, I think maybe 4.4 is the way to go, okay? So I'm having to defend the weather community in some cases, and I don't like to do that. Trust me, if you're going to play this game, come on down, you're the next snow contestant on The Snow is Right. I'm actually a Bob Barker guy. If you're that kind of guy, you don't get on stage, you're not showcase showdown material if you overbid for the washer and dryer. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, some people will do what? What do? They pick $1. Bob Barker, I'll just go $1. And that person gets on stage. I'll just go 1 inch. The first person that comes in and says, snow forecast, here's the beautiful GFS model. Let's, what's your first bid? 24 inches on a Tuesday. You know, some people were posting that on the air last Tuesday for this past weekend. So why wouldn't I feel defensive? I'm trying to, the weather community knows better, and I'm trying to pay it forward for the next generation, the 16 to 18-year-olds who want to study weather. I hope you write this stuff down. I'm going to share some stuff with you at the end that really is painfully obvious if you realize you start low and you have time to build it up. Because when the map came out, and I mean the one that the National Weather Service said post-storm, right? They didn't have those amounts. They didn't have 9.9. They didn't have 8.7. They didn't have 7 inches. They didn't have 6 inches. No, they didn't. We got 2, right? 2 inches of snow. So, you know, lessons learned, probabilities. The key here is let me see if I can write on this. The thing everybody needs to understand, if you have any interest in doing weather, is don't get bopped, right? Balance of probabilities. If you don't understand there are probabilities that this could have gone awry, then you don't start high. And you don't get on stage on The Price is Right or The Snow is Right if you overbid. And then when you start high, you can't take it back. It's a credibility buster. So Tanner, I'm not being defensive for them. I'm simply saying they're my brothers, they're my weather community too, right? The National Weather Service, they're our partners. We just want to make sure we don't overhype stuff, and I've seen it time and time again having done it. So all I'm saying is level heads prevail. And this event here I'm seeing the same mistakes made on this event, like this is a 1 to 2 deal. I'm like, no, it's a 0, 0, 0, maybe a half-inch falls. That's what I expect, all right? That's all I'm saying. And if you've got other thoughts on that was a typo there. If I have other thoughts on it, I'd like to hear from you, those who are home watching. And you're laughing. Let's see, Tanner says, he has a follow-up. Thank you. He says, I commend you for not letting me troll you. I did know that they kept lowering it. Yeah. And now they're up, I think, 1 to 2 for Bertie County tomorrow night. I just think that's a bit much, given the fact that we warmed up to the 40s today. 1 to 2 is not a big deal, but when you get a big snowstorm, here's the thing. This was the big one that got cut off. Let me put this comment on the screen here, Tanner. I can't disagree with what Jacqueline Taylor is saying here. She says, what I fail to grasp, and she is our neighbor, right? She posted this on my stream on Saturday night. What I fail to grasp is why meteorologists or maybe it's Sunday, why meteorologists start to drama so far ahead of the event. Rarely are they correct. Killing airtime, have contracts with grocery stores, get lunatics clearing shelves. Bloody ridiculous. No one pays any attention to them, which in itself could be detrimental should a real weather event occur. Rein yourselves in, chaps. I mean, I can't disagree with that. Can you? Rein yourself in, right? You're not getting on this stage with Bob Barker if you're going 24 inches of snow, $24,000 for that washer and dryer. I'll go with $1, Drew. $1. Okay, you come up. Everybody overbid. That's should be pretty apparent. Everybody knows price is right, and it really applies to forecasting too. Because if you don't understand BOP, balance of probabilities, all these models, could this work? Could this not? You have to take a balance of all these models. People say, which model did you look at? How about gut instinct? I've been doing this a while, 27 years. You just can't, otherwise, if you don't understand, respect the balance of probabilities, you're going to get bopped in the head. There's a good acronym, BOP. Don't do that. If you're 16, 17, 18, 22, and you want to study weather, don't do that. It's not going to help you make credibility. Now, could you find models that show an inch to two? Yes. But when you look at the big picture, maybe it's closer to a half inch, right? This is the Euro. This was the NAM. This was the graph. And this was the GFS, which everybody seems to adore. Everybody seems to adore the GFS in the weather community. All right, we're moving on. I got other stuff to share with you, so let's start with the headlines. If you're just joining us, it's 8 o'clock. 2 rounds of precip. We covered that. Rain-snow mix. Still chilly. High temps in the 30s. Even colder weekend. Lows in the teens Sunday morning. And our current wind chills, while they may not be off the chart, they're going to stay pretty flat. They're going to be in the 20s and low 30s tomorrow. There's 7 a.m. I don't think we're going to get much different. Low 30s, upper 20s for wind chills at noon. And by 4 o'clock, pretty much the same deal. So if I were to put a planner together, which I did for you, mostly cloudy at 7 at 35. A few showers might be developing in North Carolina at noontime. You can see that's located right here. And winds 10 to 15. Gray skies, rain, snow mix. All right, so we've got the next round coming in tomorrow night. And then once that's gone, then we may see a few flakes coming back in on Friday night and into Saturday pre-dawn hours. Now, the normal high today was 51. Tomorrow it's 52. So one thing that should strike you is the fact that we've got 5 days in the 30s. That's why I said the fact that we got up to 48 today was a win for Team Spring. Granted, 48 isn't above normal, but it certainly breaks this trend that we had 132 hours in Norfolk that ended on Monday. 132 hours is 5.5 days. We were below freezing for 5.5 days, and it put it in the top 10. I think it was 8. Dara Getter put that together for us last night. I was very appreciative of that for her. And the Weather Service was kind of to put the data together. So I'm not here to bash anybody other than to say we can do better, right? Just like a baseball player. He strikes out on one first at bat, comes back up the next 20 minutes, and hits it out of the park. I believe we can hit it out of the park as a community as well. 60, 40, 20, 10. It's a decreasing chance of precipitation over the next couple of days. And you can see the real pattern if you're in a polar plunge mindset, because we also have celebrating, I got some notes here. Let me put this back on. And you're going to notice how cold it gets. Not necessarily Thursday, but look at that. Boom, there's Friday. Ready for one more? Boom, there's Saturday. So you got a 1-2 punch in terms of the cold. And as far as events, they're celebrating Mardi Gras now at Busch Gardens. So if you want jazzy music, you want some classic Cajun flavors and fan favorite shows, they're celebrating Mardi Gras, Busch Gardens. Check that out. Of course, it's the Super Bowl weekend, and we have the Polar Plunge weekend. Could this not come in just perfectly, right? Saturday, you want it cold. Mother Nature is dishing that out for us here in the Northeast, and Virginia Beach will not be exempt. I have us down, are you ready for this? 14 degrees on Sunday morning. 14 degrees, that's cold. Yes, it's cold, and it will be one of the colder mornings we have over the next 7. Then it will start to show signs of going away, and sure enough, I think we have the potential to get warmer. Look at all this warmth out here. We can be well into the we have like a heat wave by mid to late next week. So, like I said, all this stuff comes and goes. And this is the other dive in the temperature here. You can see it coming back. But then by the time we hit the 7th and then carry it a little bit further, I believe we'll get this. There we go. So you can really see the warmth in Mexico and Texas. There's some of that headed this way. So I think a lot of people will be looking forward to a change, no doubt. Lynn Old is not happy with the 14. Yeah, you haven't seen the 7-day. 14 is my expected low on February 8th. That is, in fact, Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. It'll be super low for that, for sure. Alexander's on here saying, hello, thank you for your service. My pleasure. I'm not done. I want to share some of that note from our buddy, Brian Donegan. Let's see. Tanner is very kind. I appreciate your help, my friend. I'm on Team David. You know what, Tanner, I'm the first to tell you, we're not perfect. You know, and when you think about doctors, have you ever met somebody who says, my doctor says I only had 6 months to live, and that person went on to live 10 years? They make mistakes too. Does that mean we revoke their doctor's license? No. But there might have been, maybe they changed their diet, or professors or stockbrokers, they make mistakes and they still get paid. So this whole notion that we are expecting a higher, we expect more from our meteorologists than we do our own doctors. I've said this before. If you take, oh, I got a funny looking mole, doctor, is this mole going to kill me? And the doctor says, I don't know, and you write him a check. But then you ask the weather bird, hey, what's it going to do at 2:30 at the polar plunge when I have to dive in the water? It's only Tuesday. Right? We expect more from our weather community on a daily basis than we do our own physicians. That's my hypothesis anyway. But I appreciate Tanner's honesty and candor, and Leanna's also saying thank you very much. While I'm at this, I'll go ahead and read to you. For those of you that did see Sunday night's live stream, there was this young man. I follow him on LinkedIn. I sent him a direct message, and I'm not going to share you the whole note, but he said, Brian says, David, thank you so much for sharing this story. He said, without your advice of facing my fear of snow, I would have never, ever considered SUNY Oswego. That's the State University, New York, Oswego. Sure enough, it was the best decision I ever made. He said, it's where I met my wife now of almost 11 years. And now we raise our kids who are 5 and 2 years old. He said, I am so happy that I ended up inspiring you after you were such an inspiration to me as a 16-year-old kid in Stratford, New Jersey. This is the Philadelphia area. He later went on to Fox Weather. So this is what I'm saying. You make a difference by paying it forward. When the snow fell in North Carolina, maybe there was a kid that says, you know what, I'm going to help my neighborhood. I'm going to help shovel the driveway where grandma is. Maybe do it. Maybe grandma asks you to do it. Maybe you just did it and didn't even had to be asked. But that's how we help each other. I keep saying you got to know each other's names. You got to learn to take care. Because you know what? Your neighborhood's going to probably be there long after you're gone. And before you got on this planet, your neighborhood was there. Let's just make it a better place. That's all I say. And I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just the messenger. I hope that makes sense. I'm just trying to keep it real. All right, so we're going to go back to the weather here. We're going to wrap it up. And I know that some of you are going to have some questions, and if that's the case, I'll do my best. We hit 48 today. That puts a smile on my face. When I left on Sunday, I was thinking 44. We were 44, I think, around noontime or 1 o'clock today. But we hit 48. That means even though it was warm, it wasn't quite warm enough to be above normal. So we really have 3 days now in the early month of February at 48. But this is the warmest day since January 23rd. If you look at our current readings at 8:07, it's 36. Maybe Wednesday. This is a temperature forecast, so it's model driven. But it even shows that we kind of flatline into 30s tomorrow for much of the south side. You could easily get into the 40s here, but I don't think you're necessarily going to get as cold as maybe the eastern shore. A little colder there, still upper 30s, and then by the time you get some snowflakes in a husky, it's probably not going to stick around for very long. That's a Wednesday night issue too, so it's 2 rounds. Speaking of multiple sources, I always encourage you to download the News 3 First Warning Weather app. No Weather Radio, for example, is a great thing to have. Both of them are working great when you have loss of power. Satellite radar showing this storm. We talked about the cold front drape down here, and it's also with the warm front that's trying to come into Hampton Roads. So we'll be watching this very closely, and we kind of zoom in a little bit tighter. If you're in the military, maybe you have family out west. I'm looking out here. There's a storm that's trying to show up maybe just northwest of Seattle. A couple of showers in the middle of the country from Bismarck, just north of Dodge City, Kansas, and into northern Texas. Dallas, it looks dry. Houston, a couple of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder or just some heavy rain. They've got some rain coming into Houston at this hour. And you can follow the line. It goes all the way into Birmingham, Alabama, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and into Atlanta, Georgia, where travel might still be slowed if there's rain coming down. Knoxville's getting some rain right now. But if you get into Roanoke, that's where the mix is now beginning to show signs of, at least south toward maybe far southwestern sections of Virginia, not far from Bristol and Laurel Fork. It looks like it's trying to change over near Bluefield, West Virginia. So really the big story is the fact that clouds are on the increase and there will be some showers developing in your neighborhood and mine later tonight. So if you look at this big picture, this takes us to the 13th, Friday, February. You got some rain, some snow. That's what's going to come in tomorrow night. What you're looking at here is a little clipper system coming in tomorrow night. It does not, I repeat, does not have the power or the oomph that the southern storm did. Remember, when we were talking about that storm had a relationship with that low coming off of the Bahamas, off of Cuba, and so that spun up some extra energy. That's why North Carolina got hit, why Charlotte had over 11 inches of snow and breaking records for them. I put my markers up there by accident, but not a bad reminder. I'm already thinking food, as you might be too, if you haven't eaten dinner. Now notice the snow here comes into Ohio, West Virginia, but that is what's coming in on Friday night. But it's moving into such dry air, I just think it's a few flakes. Again, nothing to be alarmed about. It's coming from the northwest. It's a clipper system. It's going to yield very, very little output, But you might see a flake, but don't expect much. And this will take you right through the 13th, where you have more opportunities. We mentioned some temperatures. That's where we are now. We got 32 in Beckley, 32 in, 39 in Charlotte, while it's 56 in Atlanta. They're getting some rain. Big drop off, right, from Atlanta. There's just about a 3-hour drive from Knoxville to Atlanta, but you drop off almost 20 degrees there. So big change there. And then 33 in Hatteras. The big cold air really isn't that sharp as it was last week. The trough looks a little bit less. But it's still +7. I mean, they're not negative here. That's also a bullish sign that things may get a little bit better. I didn't even get a chance to show you today's map for the upper air. The sudden stratospheric warming event seems like it's less concentrated because now we have two areas. Warm air rises, cold air sinks. But if I zoom in a little bit tighter, if you, I was trying to think about how to describe this. If you've ever seen that Michelangelo painting where, you know, God's hands touching Adam's hands. Okay, if you connect these yellow areas, that's where I think you're going to find the connection. There'll be a connection of this super cold air. But see, we're over here. So yes, it'll probably be getting colder in around the 3rd of March because this is a 30-day outlook. For my money, that's what this represents, is that you're going to find some really cold air maybe across New England and the Great Lakes on March the 3rd, but not necessarily here in Hampton Roads. I think this represents about a 30-day delay. This is February 3rd, and I'm already projecting by looking at this is probably a good indication of what's happening around March the 3rd. Does that make sense? So you've got two pieces of warm air rising in the stratosphere around 11 miles up, and warm air rises, cold air sinks. So and this will be going that way. So you're really, I think, looking good that we're not going to necessarily have an early spring, but I think we're going to have a chance to maybe get through the rest of this month and beyond. We'll see. Thank you, Leanne, for your comment. Let me get back to the maps and also want to check in with you. If you have other comments, I will entertain some more questions, field them anyway. Dew points have come out of the sub-zeros. We had negative dew points. We had single-digit dew points. That's all now gone. The future temperatures show us on the top of the screen. It's February 5th. This is 6th. This takes us into the 7th, which of course is that big Arctic blast in white. The blue is a cold highway, but the white areas would be the really Arctic air coming down from the North Pole. So as far as this cold air, but it doesn't look as bad. I think the trend by after Halloween will get a little bit more milder. So you'll notice last week, in fact, this should probably be relocated over Texas, but the colder or below normal temperatures might prevail through the 13th. This is a 6 to 10 day outlook. My suspicion is that this will all be working its way east of the Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley. So we'll get some more warmth by a week from tomorrow. I suspect we're going to be well into the 50s. Well into the 50s. Probably a week from, what is that? That's the 11th. So if your first warning, I'm telling you, we'll get some warmer days, but you're going to have to be patient because the next 5 days might actually wear you down or thin out your patience. Your patience might run out. I don't want it to. All right, let's take a look at the Eastern Shore. High temperature in Onancock, 38. 39 in Chincoteague, Saxis, and Bloxham tomorrow. We got clouds. Most of the day, precipitation free. Some of that will, again, be misleading because you get some tonight. You'll get some at 2 or 3 and 4 in the morning. Might even mix in with some raindrops and snowflakes up in the Eastern Shore. Outer Banks, more of a rain issue, 60, 70% tomorrow. And again, that could become very early in the morning and then again later in the afternoon, 43. 80% Manio, but 43 the high for Manio, Wanchese, and Nags Head about 43 degrees, Duck about 41, and should be in the mid-40s for Hatteras and Ocracoke, where rain is more likely there. So we look at the futurecast. This is the graph model. We already looked at this once before. Sometimes we get new data, but for those of you who are just joining us, I'll fly by it. This is what's tonight, right? 11 o'clock. Looks like it's rain and green, but there could be some rain-snow combinations in pink. I'm not expecting freezing rain per se, but you've got to be sensitive. If you're traveling overnight tonight, maybe you work the third shift, make sure your car thermometer is not showing 29 or 28, because that would be freezing rain, and it could also add to some bridges and overpasses. But even still, because this is going to switch back to rain, some of the snow up here might just cause people some alarm at midnight, but give it a few hours, it will work its way back to a different type of precipitation. As it rolls into Virginia Beach and Norfolk, could be a rain-snow combination. I favor rain, honestly. It's mostly going to be like two-thirds rain and maybe one-third snowflake embedded, so it's not going to be much of a big deal. It passes by, you're not going to add any accumulation from tonight's, and I think it's pretty minimal on Wednesday night. So you got a lot of tomorrow quiet. There's noon, there's 3. It's even 5 o'clock, and there's nothing falling from the sky. But round 2, as we mentioned, starts off with a flake around Norfolk, rain across Duck, coming in with a snow shower in a Hosky based on this. But we also looked at the graph model, and it showed a bunch of zeros, right? The amount of snow accumulating was going to be a 0. So I wouldn't expect much. Half inch or less may fall, even less will actually stick. Futurecast shows by the time we get Thursday, things have settled down. So if you look at this a little closer up, there's round 1, big break tomorrow. That's 4:30, more rain for North Carolina, and then the snow will come out of North Carolina. As it gets colder around this low, you're draining down some cold air advection and you're bringing in snow into parts of Southwest Virginia. So those are the snow showers that we have to work with. And because it's a quick moving system, it doesn't have time to park. It moves on out to sea and off to the races we go. We're fine and moving on. So the Wednesday morning, I expect about low, about 33. I don't expect it to be 28 or 29 per se for Williamsburg, but stranger things have been known to happen. If I'm off a couple of degrees, just be mindful of it. I think it's a mix where you get precip. 30 for Franklin, 32 for Elizabeth City, and a low about 33 in Smithfield, Chesapeake 32, and 31 in Moyock. Here's your Wednesday afternoon forecast. Temperature about 41 for North Carolina, 37 Peninsulas, 39 South Side. Again, depends on where you are. 30s and 40s, you'll feel like the temperatures are flatlining, meaning they're not moving much tomorrow. They're going to hold fairly steady. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 3 7-day forecast, 39-35. Then we go 39-35 again Friday and Saturday. The coldest morning by far and away will be when that secondary front comes down. It's just going to, like you saw it graphically a few moments ago, it's just like, woof, this whole thing's going to surge. And you're going to, where did that come from? I don't even think we're getting above freezing on Sunday. At least every other day shows promise, shows some probabilities, balance of probabilities that we'll get well above freezing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But Sunday's going to be one of those harder days to do that. And I think the winds will be very strong in the morning. Thankfully, the 1 o'clock p.m. plunge might not be as severe. I mean, you're looking at, I'm thinking 40 to 45. I want to be clear about that. I think right now, based on the data, a 40 to 45 gust Saturday morning is on the table. But by the time you get in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, it might be gusting closer to 30, 35. We'll see. I'll get a little look at it once we get a little closer. But that cold and windy feel, it's for a good cause, right? It's for the Special Olympics, their biggest fundraiser. But you got to know what you're doing. When you're going in the water, where the water temperature is probably, 47? It's in the 40s or something like it. So you're still going to be you're going to feel like the water temperature is the place to be. It's not the scary place to go. All right, 35 Monday, and really, I see us at 46. This could go higher. Could easily have been 48, but I put 46. I think we're in the 50s on Wednesday. 50s on Wednesday, the 11th. So there you go. Any questions? Any questions? I've kind of covered everything. I've got Leanne. I've just accidentally posted that again a couple times. That's my mistake. Let's see here. Serena maybe just joined us. Says, how much snow? Well, that's just it. Not much at all. You'll see it, but you won't get it. Because I've learned in all these years that when you say, are we going to see some snow? Are we going to get some snow? That means different things to different people. Get means you got it. North Carolina got some snow this past weekend, as we saw from this very image. Serena, if I take your comment down, you could see that they got 7s and 10s in some of these areas down here, right? Some of these areas got some big snow. They got the snow. Now, up here we saw some snow, but they got some snow. That's how I differentiate that. But it means different things to different people. I mean, if you say, are we gonna get some snow and you're in Tallahassee, I mean, 0.2 is too much snow in Tallahassee, right? That's what Williamsburg got, what, 0.2? So that's just common sense. Everybody has their own frame of reference. What's normal to somebody is not normal for someone else, right? If it's in the 50s, we would rejoice. We'd say, 50s, that's warm. But if you say, hey, South Florida, we're going to be in the 50s, they're like, oh, I got to grab a sweater. It's just how we are. By the way, because in honor of the polar plunge, I did a little like a neighborhood touch point of sorts. Let me show you what I pictured. This is what I was out doing yesterday. I wanted to know if I could handle, and I'll be out there Saturday, to be fair. I'm going to be in a tent, a News 310. It will be heated. I'll be honest with you. It will be heated. I'm getting taunted by our good buddy, Kurt Williams. He is actually going to be doing some polar plunging, and I'm cheering him on, right? I'm a good co-worker. I'm cheering Kurt on because he's done it before with a cape. He says he's not going to do it with a Superman cape anymore because it drags him down when the water starts moving and the waves are crashing. But I was at Grommet Island yesterday. This is 38 degrees was the high yesterday, and I found a whole neighborhood of surfers. It's like a community, right? The weather is a community. Well, in this case, this is a surfing community, and they do this apparently even in the cold. He's like, oh, no, they don't. I need evidence. There, I got you some digital proof right there. Got you some digital proof. You need some better proof. There it is. I mean, they're doing some rip curls, I suppose. They're having a good time. It's like surf's up. And I love the fact that people, and there were birds. I had a great time. But this is just some of the pictures I posted on my Facebook page yesterday. So like happy shots, I just thought I'd happily show you that there are people in wetsuits. Kurt says that's cheating. He says if you're polar plunging in a wetsuit, then it's a wetsuit plunge. It's not a polar plunge. I don't know. I'm still just observing that part of it. But there are people, there must have been 6 or 7 people out there doing the surfing just yesterday, and they're not bothered by the cold. So maybe we shouldn't be bothered either. After all, it is for a good cause. We'll be doing that Friday. I'll be doing it on Saturday, but the polar plunge is Friday and Saturday. So again, just to review, most of what's on the radar now is a bunch of noise. The radar's not broken. It's just coming down as evaporative, what we call virga. It's evaporating before it reaches the surface. But there's the 7-day forecast, 39, 35, 39. Just a reminder, if you haven't had dinner like me, I encourage you to grab a medium pizza from Marco's. I did mine last night. I'll be honest with you. I got a deluxe. $10.99 is what you could pay for with using the promo code WTKR Sunny. And I love the fact that Marco's gives us the generosity. Marco says, hey, I'll do the $10.99 on any medium pizza. So it doesn't matter what you order, but use the promo code, save yourself some money. I think you'll be impressed. If you've never tried Marco's, I think you'll be impressed. We're going to give away free pizza for a year on Thursday. No changes. The winner that gets this gets one large pizza, one topping, one large pizza every month for a year. And that would start this February. You would get it right through December of 2026. And then you get one in January of 2027. It works like a punch card. You put it on your refrigerator so you don't forget, so you don't let it go by. Maybe you eat pizza once a week, once a month, whatever. This is a real great thing, and it costs you nothing to register. There are 6 locations that will participate in the free pizza for a year, but we urge you to go to our webpage, WTKR.com/Marcos. Just takes about a minute to register. We love to give away pizza. We've given away hundreds of pizzas since last May. Hundreds of pizzas. So very thankful. If you haven't tried the Pozzoli, it's another great lunch item. It's really any time. But Marcos.com, you can get the Pepperoni Magnifico for $10.99, or if you decided maybe you wanted to go all in on the works. Do we have the works here? I think I got the works. Yeah, the works. You can get pepperoni, ham, green peppers, Italian sausage, mushrooms, bacon, onions, and 3 cheeses that they specialize in. I mean, it's amazing. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. So if you want to check it out, again, WTKR Sunny, that's the promo code this week, and it's good through Saturday. All right, just a reminder, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or whether it's serious. We're going to get a little bit of rain tonight, mainly overnight. Some might get a little bit mixed, but we'll make it. We'll make it. We're a hardy bunch. We can get through this stuff, and we will. And I'll see you here. Make the most of it in your neighborhood. And just remember, every day is a gift. And if you're going to play, Price is Right or the snow is right, make sure you start with a low bid and don't go over. Because you know what? If you go over, then you're not showcase showdown material. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You do understand. Okay. All right. We'll see you here. We'll see you here tomorrow night. Take care.